Hello my friends and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to talk about the simlab GT1 Evo. The simlab GT1 Evo is a seat that comes highly recommended. If you go on Facebook and you ask, okay, I don't have a budget, what is a seat that I need to buy? Okay, they come with a simlab GT1 Evo a lot of the times. So configuration, yeah, all is fixed. So there is not an on-the-fly part that you can change. Of course, if you buy a seat, then you have the seat sliders that you can install on it, and that could be on the fly. But for the rest, everything is fixed into place, so it doesn't move at all. What I find interesting for the configuration of the pedals is that there are extra small profiles used to put them in an inclination, and this is handy because then you can fix them with two extra bolts in the two grooves of the profiles. They are suitable for all major brands like Fanatec, Trustmaster, Hoisingfeld. I was able to attach my TLSMs with 4 screws, so it is very fixed. The rest of the configuration happens, with the profile. So you slide them over the base profiles and you fix them into places where you think is a good position for you for both pedals and the wheelbase. Of course, since this is nothing on the fly, you need, if it's not good, you need to untie screw it all and back and put it a bit further again. So it might take some time to get a good position, but I think with the freedom that you have with these profile rigs, that it is almost impossible not to find a good position. Despite that the profiles for the wheelbase holder, so the vertical profiles, are a little bit shorter than with the GT Omega Prime Lite, but the wheelbase itself, it came sufficiently high, so I was able to put it high. I like it when it is high, and I was able to put the steering wheel reasonably high. For build quality, well, it's fantastic. I mean, it feels very solid. Everything, it feels so solid. What I said before with the pedals, so they can be attached with 6 on 6 different points, 1 in the front and then 2 in the rear. So they don't move at all. The wheelbase holder too, which I was a bit skeptic about, because it with the Simex Pro I had the feeling, so it's about the same principle, but I could move the steering wheel up and down because it allowed for the inclination and it was easily put up and down. But here this is not the case, so with the proper washers on it, it doesn't move, and the flex that I have on this wheelbase holder is negligible. So it is really a good, they really did a good job with the wheelbase holder here. Of course, I would prefer to have it rest on the horizontal beam itself, but the way it is now, well, it is properly done. So the profiles themselves, they really have a thick aluminum core too. So I saw with the Prime Lite that the core itself, it was a lot thinner. So there's a lot less aluminum used in the profiles of the Prime Lite than there is in the profiles of the GT1 Evo. Now I didn't notice any weaknesses in the other profile, but well, yeah, if you have a lot of aluminum in it, well, it's worth more. So let's say that it's a good thing to hear that there is more aluminum in the core of the profiles. So the vertical profiles, they are kept into place on the horizontal profiles for the wheelbase holder. They are kept into place in 2 positions, and this is, like I said, I didn't notice any flex, but it would be better if they would come to the side of the profile, and it would be mounted more to the side of the profile, sticking to it instead of putting it on it and then attaching it with two different points. It would be better, but like I said, I don't notice a problem here in the way it is fixed. So yeah, is it the problem with build quality? Yeah, it could be better, but I don't notice any issues, so let's let it slide. So everything is nicely covered. All the corner connecting frames are nicely covered with like a plastic cover, so that you don't see any screws or anything, and that's good. I like it a lot. But here too, and I had the same problem with the Simex Pro. Just when you bump with your knee into it, it can fall off, and that's a bit of a shame. For features, you have the side mount, which is a good thing because it's not included anymore with every rig, where you can attach your shifter or your handbrake to it, or your mouse pad, or whatever peripheral that you have, or extra hardware you have. The only downside, I think, is that the side profile, it's just the horizontal bar, so it is not vertically attached by the end to the frame, so it might have the tendency to flex a bit. I fixed it, it seems very well fixed, but I can notice that it might move a bit, especially when you go shifting and with a handbrake, then there is a possibility of extra flex on it. Also, something that I really liked is that you have the simlab logo laser cut out of the pedal base holder. So it's a small detail, but it's things like this that just up the value of your frame. And this, yeah, it's fantastic that they did something like that. With 59 centimeters of width, it is reasonably compact. So if I compare it to the GTO Prime Lite, yeah, that one is much more fatter. So this is a reasonably compact frame too, which I like. Options, yeah, as with all the major manufacturers like simlab, they have everything. So cup holders, display stands, whatever you want, they have it. And also a nice feature that I found in their shop is like they have the coverings for the grooves into your profile. So you can actually buy those and in a color and give an extra personalized feature to your rig. And that is something that I didn't see with GT Omega, for example. I don't think I saw it with Sim X Pro. So this is something, the first time that I see it. So the coverings of for the grooves in the frame, and I liked it a lot. So also an option, the seat. The cheapest seat comes in at around 249 euro, without any seat rails, without any seat holders. So yeah, as an option, that can count already. 449 euro, it is cheap, but it's not cheap if you have to buy a seat with it. Then it comes a bit higher in price. And then when I compare it, so with the seat, so 250 euro for the seat, 450 euro for the rig itself, we come at 700 euro, with some seat rails 720 euro. And if you then compare it to the GT Omega Prime Lite, and that comes in for around 650 euro, that's quite of a difference already. And so GT Omega has free shipping on their hardware. So yeah, it's not the cheapest one out there. I think it's a real good recommendation for this chair from people on Facebook, and it has been a good recommendation for a long time. But I think perhaps, with the missing profile bar for the shifter holder plate, so there are some things that are missing on this frame, which gives the edge to some of the competition. Don't get me wrong, I really think you get a good price for this rig, and I would also, if somebody would ask me if it is a good frame, I would recommend it too, because it is simply a good frame. Thank you all for watching. I hope you had something from this video. Leave a like if you want, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and I will see you all next video. Bye bye.